So life is all about connecting the dots, right? If something, when it comes to principle, if it works on one level, if that principle is true, it should work on another level. And one of the things I enjoy doing is connecting the dots, figuring out how things that work for one thing and how it also works for something else. And something that I found out today blew my mind, and I want to share with y'all. So in the beginning, it says God created the heavens and the earth, blah blah blah. He did all these things, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might be 6, but there are 5 or 6 things that God did as he was in his creation mode, putting things in place as far as his creation was concerned. First thing he did was he made an observation. It says that in Genesis 1, and forgive me because I'm definitely going to be paraphrasing, but it said that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. That was an observation. God observed the current situation of the earth, right? It was without void, it was without form, void, and darkness was covering the face of the deep. The second thing God did was he made a declaration. So first we had his observation of what was going on. Then he made a declaration, and that declaration was, let there be light. After his observation, he realized there needed to be a declaration, and the declaration was, let there be light. And then the next thing he did was, after he made his declaration, he made a separation. And it said that he separated the light from the darkness. So he had his observation, his declaration, the separation, and then there came the delegation. And what did he do when he delegated? He delegated the lesser light and the greater light to do their thing. He gave them, after he separated light from darkness, he then delegated the next thing, which was the moon and the sun, basically. And he was like, let me delegate the sun. What you gonna do? You gonna rule during the day. Moon, you gonna lesser light, you gonna rule during the night, right? And then after he made after he delegated what the things were going to do, then what was the last thing? There was automation, right? There was automation. That's what it was. Then things were on automation. It was like, once he made the declaration, and then he did the separation, and then the delegation, then things were on an automation, meaning the evening and the morning, there was the first day, right? I already told you what to do. The declaration has been made. There has been separation. There has been a delegation. Now things are on automation. I ain't got to tell you what to do no more. You already know what to do. Then, because let me tell y'all something, baby. Then the last thing he did after things were on automation was he made an affirmation. And what was that? He said, and he saw what he'd made, and it was good. And I looked at how he did that repeatedly over and over throughout the book of Genesis. Throughout Genesis chapter 1, right? Everything that he made, he did that each time. He observed, he declared everything, let there be. He said, let there be every time. There was a declaration every time. There was a delegation every time, and there was a separation every time. There was, and like I said, once he declared it and did all the other things, the automation was implicit in the command of what he told it to do. And then he affirmed, the affirmation was, and it was good. And he did this every single time. And I thought about this in light of when it comes to our personal finances, when it comes to our money, we have to first make an observation. We got to look at our financial picture. We need to look at our debt. We need to look at our expenses. We need to look at the entire totality of our personal finances so that our observation can be an accurate assessment of our financial situation. And then once we make that observation, we need to make a declaration. We need to declare what it's going to be. If we don't like what we saw in the observation, then we need to make the declaration of what our personal finances need to be. Let there be debt freedom. Let there be more savings. Let there be a budget. Let there be some investments. Let there be, whatever it need to be, let it be. But we need to make the declaration based on the observation that we just made. And then once we have the declaration and it's out there, we need to make a separation. There needs to be a separation of needs versus wants. We need to be able to separate our expenses from, like, mandatory expenses from frivolous expenses. We need to make the separation of whatever we need to do in order to get towards the declaration that we just made when it comes to our money. If we're trying to pay off debt, we need to make the separation of what debt needs to be paid off first. If we're trying to create a budget or get on a spending plan so that we can align our finances with our overarching financial goal, we need to make whatever needs to be separated. We need to make that separation. And then there must be delegation. You need to delegate every single dollar that you bring in. It needs to have a job. Whatever that job is, you need to delegate it to that dollar. There must be a delegation. And then once there's a delegation, then you can move on to the automation. Whatever you're wanting your money to do, you shouldn't have to go into your bank account every month and move it to where it needs to go. If you're trying to save, you need to make sure your savings from your main account is automated. There should be automation to your money. Going in there and touching it every time is absolutely a setup for disaster, because you will find a reason not to put that money in your savings account. You will always find a reason to not put that money in your investment account. There will always be something that will keep you from doing it, especially if you're trying to develop the habit of getting serious about your money. And then once you got all those things automated, once there's automation in your personal finances, then you can sit back and make an affirmation telling yourself, you know what? Now this is good. I like the way this is going. I like to see how my savings account is growing. I like that I see that my investment account is growing. I like that I am becoming more conscientious of every dollar that I am spending. I like that my budget is working out. Now this is good. And that is the very principle, those are the principles that God used in the beginning when he was creating everything in the creation that we see. And I just linked it to how we can do the same thing with our money. We got to make an observation. We need to know what's going on in our personal finances. There must be a declaration where you try to go when it comes to your personal finances. There must also then come a separation. Don't be having money just sitting somewhere in one place. Separate your money. Have it going in different places. And then once you have that set up, the delegation comes into play, where you're putting each dollar on assignment for the purpose of whatever you declared. Got it? Good. And then once there has been the separation, and then there has been the delegation, then you can move on. Sorry about that. Then you are ready to move on to the automation. Now you know where the money needs to be separated, and then you know where the dollars are going to be delegated to. Now you can go ahead and you can start the automation process and having those things set up to happen automatically. And then once you see that things are going in the direction that you have declared, you can say it is good. Baby, let me tell you how that thing blessed me when I was thinking about that this morning. I think I'm going to go, we might have Bible lessons for money life. I don't know. I just made that up on the fly, but There are so many principles in the Bible. Whether you're religious, whether you are a believer in the Bible or not, that book is full of gems that, if applied properly, will take different aspects of your life to another level. And I'm just talking about it from a personal financial situation. But listen. Take some time, listen to this video again, take some notes, drop some comments, let me know what you think. I might read Genesis chapter 2 and see what I see in there, and let me see what I can throw back out tomorrow, because baby, it's in there. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for loaning me your ear. Okay? All right, I gotta go because I'm about to jump on this road for real. Bye.